Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, day 4 of my WarbossTae Painting challenge. Made really good progress. I'm going to give you a close-up shot of some of the work that I've done in a second. I've completed 2 boards of the next stage, so 2 out of my 4 boards, so I'm really happy with that. Now, first of all, before I show you, I want to have a very quick chat about the work that I'm doing compared to the test model that I showed you all a good few videos ago. So on my test model, I went in with Troll Slayer Orange directly onto the armour. Had to paint that quite thick, which I wasn't worried about because it was only a test model. For the proper army paint, I'm actually going to go in with a base coat. So I'm going in with Jokero Orange first, before I go in with the Troll Slayer Orange. I should just make the orange a bit smoother. So that was the first thing. The second thing was that in that test video that I made, I mentioned that I wasn't going to actually wash the Troll Slayer Orange because I thought it gave like a mottled effect. Now I did do a test paint scheme afterwards of that video without the wash, and in actual fact I found it was just too bright. So my original idea of washing the orange, I think actually I'm going to do, and now I like that mottled effect. Now I've seen it without the mottled effect. The mottled effect actually works quite well. So that was the other thing. So that's why I've gone in and I've based this orange first, so that I can wash the whole model once I've completed the next layer. And then the third thing I want to mention is on that test model, I painted the chest plate orange as well as the shoulder pads and the kneecaps. I have decided to not paint the chest plates on the actual army. I did have one comment actually on that test video saying I wasn't quite sure about, or he wasn't quite sure about the chest plate. It did make me think a little bit, but that wasn't the reason for the change of heart. The reason for change of heart was that all the models are all totally different, all the sculpts, and some of them have a good chest plate to paint, and some of the chest plates just don't seem to work well being painted. Plus, some of the guns are in the way of the chest plate. So I've decided not to paint the chest plate orange. So that's enough ramble. Let's zoom in and have a look at some of these. Let me just move this camera a little bit for you, just so it's a bit easier to see. Right, so let's start off with this one. I'm calling this my Rihanna. I don't know why, but just reminds me of Rihanna. But yeah, as you can see, I've done the shoulder pads and the kneecaps with that Jokero orange. Obviously the Troll Slayer orange is going to make that a lot brighter, but that is how they're looking. To show you another warrior. So this is my board of warriors. So I've got 30 warriors standing, and then I've got 8 warriors which are from the raiders, and they're just lying down on the board. So that's that one. And then I've got some of the older sculpts, which is there. Now the older sculpts, the kneecaps are like really tiny. Now I did paint a couple of the kneecaps, but it looked absolutely ridiculous. So I painted back over with the black and dry brushed them back over orange. But the good thing is that the shoulder pads are much bigger on this older model. So it sort of makes a little bit of a compensation. You've got slightly more orange on the top there, but the kneecaps aren't painted orange. To show you this guy. Now this guy reminds me of a Kazan from Star Trek Voyager, with that big hair. So I was talking yesterday about the fluff of my army. I was thinking maybe could incorporate some Kazan fluff or history or something into the army, maybe. But yeah, so that is that board. So that's the warriors. I'm now going to get board 2 out, just give you a little look at that board. Okay, so board 2 is the Hellions and the Witches. 30 Witches and 5 Hellions. Let me just zoom in a bit, show you a couple of these closer. So here we have a Hellion, Now only one shoulder pad on these, and in actual fact only one shoulder pad on the Witches as well, and funnily enough only one kneecap as well, which is a bit weird, but it sort of works. And the good thing about these Hellions, of course, I'm going to have some freehand orange on here as well, so I'll be able to get a bit more orange into these models. Now, I did have a slight issue with this one. I think it's just the sculpt, but it had no shoulder pads, this particular one, so I couldn't get any orange on at all, only just one kneecap, and it just looked a bit silly. So I found a shoulder pad which I had in an old Warrior, just chopped that off, I've glued it into place, so I just need to go in, I'll manually prime it with the Games Workshop primer, and then I'll paint that orange as well, so at least I'll get an orange shoulder pad on all of the Hellions. And then in terms of the Witches, let's just get a couple of these out for you. So yeah, one shoulder pad is orange and one kneecap is orange. That's that one, and let's get this one. There you go. So that is how they are looking. So really, really good progress. I'm very happy with that. I'm not sure exactly how many hours it took me to paint them. I didn't really time it because I did a few like sessions here and there during the day. Yeah, really, really happy with that. Okay, so let's go straight on to day 4 question, and that is, what is one of your favourite painting tools? Something that you use and absolutely love. How do you use this product? How has it made you a better painter? It's got to be the wet palette, I think. I just don't waste as much paint now as I used to, and the wet palettes just cost me nothing. I've got a video on how I make my wet palette in the archives. I'll see if I can find that and put that in the description for you. But yeah, my wet palette, I absolutely love it. It's changed the way I paint, because I can paint a little bit and I don't have to worry about using the paint up, so I can just like pop the lid on and, you know, go away for a few hours, come back and the paint's there ready to go again. So that would be my favourite tool, if you can call a wet palette a tool. Right, so that's it for this update. Tomorrow I'm going to be working on the other 2 boards, Scourges and Grotesques, and also the other board with the vehicles on. So yeah, lots more to come. Thanks for watching, of course, as always, and I'll see you in the next video.